Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's a guy who always has something cooking in his mental. I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Thursday night eviction recap, BB23. It was Brent unanimously evicted from the Big Brother house. We'll talk about reactions and a brand new HOH here tonight as we head into the fourth week of BB23 with another great panel. Back with us to talk about it tonight, it's the great Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
No. What? How can this be? Sorry, I'm just trying to give you what we needed tonight. And Derek F. stole from us because he ruined the blind side. And I'm very upset about it, Rob.
Yep. Last night we were promised a bill of goods and came up a little flat tonight.
Very flat. Very, very unfortunately flat. I'm still upset about it. And you know, it should have been an all-timer. We should have seen Brent look at Xavier and go, checkmate, bud. Right as he was evicted unanimously. But instead, we got nothing.
Yeah, not much. Okay. Yeah. As we saw tonight, Derek F. can find all sorts of ways to screw things up again. Yeah. So, all right.
Derek F. What did he I don't even know how to do it. He evicted. No, what did he do?
Hello, Derek.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I sadly to vote Brent.
Yeah.
Derek F. voted our blind side.
he sadly voted our blind side off.
Did you hear? Right. Did you hear Julie also like specifically pronounce?
I think I threw it off. He was in his head. All right. Great to have you back. Of course, taking a break from talking about Love Island. Here is the great Kirsten MacInnis. Kirsten, how are you?
I'm good, Rob. Surf's up. We even had the surfboard today for me. That was personal for me. Yeah, this is, I would like to avoid, e-vote everyone who ruined this blind side for us. It could have been so much better.
Okay. Well, on the bright side, Brent is gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Happy days. Happy days. Brent is gone.
Yeah, take the good. Be the good. All right. Great to have you back here with us. And then joining us again tonight for another eviction. Of course, taking a break from covering all things wrestling on the Wrestling Rehab Up with Mari Forth. It's Matt Scott. Matt, how are you?
Oh, I was expecting that, Rob. I wasn't surprised. I knew you were gonna introduce me. I just saw it all coming. And in wrestling terms, for Brent, that's what we call a no sell. Little disappointing, but we'll sell him. We're good. Get him off the stock watch.
Okay. All right. We're here to talk about it all. We'll take your questions. Taran Armstrong and I will have an interview with Brent for you on Friday. So be on the lookout for that. Taran, I thought he was a little flat with Julie.
It was a very boring interview.
Hey,
it went on so long.
Yeah.
She's a big
tweeted last night about the competition. This competition could have been an email. They picked the wrong night to go all in on the interview segment.
Yeah, and Julie she kept asking him the same question in about like 15 different ways, and she kept getting the same answer, which was nothing. Right. So she really needed to try something. This just was not working.
Yeah. Maybe this guy has a couple of cups of coffee before we talk to him. Hopefully we get some more pep in his step for when we have our exit interview with Brent. And then on Friday also, don't miss, we will have the BB Q&A this week for the patrons. We'll be taking your questions about what is Christian going to do on his eviction, all of the machinations going on in the Big Brother house heading into Friday, what we assume to be the last week of the team's twist. So a lot coming your way. And of course, the live feed update at 11 a.m. With Taran and Puya. All right. So I guess let's close out the Brent stuff, right? let's close it out and then we'll go back. I think that there's a lot more intrigue to talk about when we get to the HOH. Matt, any thoughts on Brent's last stand?
Yeah, it was sad. You know, we were expecting a lot of turbulence. We were, we really wanted something to go down. I was picturing it being like an episode of Lost where it's just like planes flying, bam, and everyone ends up on an island and no one knows what's going on. That's what I thought was going to happen. We didn't get that, and it was sad. But you know what? I think like the more that we take it in when we listen to his interview, you have to appreciate how much he knew was happening. Like, he really felt like he understood what was happening to him. I have to say, though, the part where he watched Hannah's goodbye message and you kind of see him wince a little bit, dying on the inside. I had to think, maybe that caught him off guard a little bit.
When Julie asked him about the aces, he said, "Oh, well, Derek X was always against me, and Whitney, her and I personalities don't get along, but Hannah, she just went with the numbers. It was really
you see Julie in this game. Sometimes when the numbers are against you, you have to just kind of go along with it. So that's, I'm sure, what happened with Hannah.
Yeah.
By
the way,
innocent Hannah.
Yeah, I just want to say this at the top of the show. We have another poll up on our Instagram tonight at RHAP Grams. We want to know, were you happy with tonight's HOH results? And let's see what the audience has to say. We'll tell you later on in the show tonight. You can vote at RHAP Grams during the podcast on Instagram. We got to see, a little bit of, Brent's campaign to try to stay. But can I even use the champagne campaign word correctly, Kirsten?
I don't think so, no. If you click on the hashtag champagne campaign, you will continue to see nothing that has to do with Brent Champagne. And I don't think he's going to get anything new for his like celeb love highlight on his Instagram either. I don't think he's getting what he's looking for out of this experience.
You don't think any famous people are going to be tweeting about how they're so gutted to see Brent go?
I hope that they do, so that I know who to block preemptively, because I don't have room for that type of energy in my life. I'm trying to protect my peace.
Yeah. Taran, I did feel like that we got a lot of strategy segments tonight in the episode. Were you finally happy with how they treated the show tonight?
Rob, I feel like I feel like you're trying to put this on me, like I'm over, I'm wanting more than they're giving me, and that maybe I should want less. Is that what I'm getting from you?
If you could just lower your expectations, Taran.
I thought that, we got a little bit of the Brent, and then I felt like that we got a whole segment about, who the house is looking to target in the upcoming weeks, that I feel like that, I'm not going in with high expectations, but I thought that this was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I did. I liked it. We got caught up on sort of like the necessary bits here when it comes to who's being targeted and why, the setup of the aces and the kings, and how Derek X is with the kings with the royal flush, and that he's also now trying to protect the aces from the kings within the royal flush, and in order to do that, he's kind of now thinking he needs to take a shot at the kings. Love that for Derek X. Hearing from Tiffany as well that she's kind of on board with this idea. This is kind of outdated information, but it's good enough to kind of get us to where we are right now. And then we're also going to hear from the kings that they're looking at Hannah and Whitney, which is obviously particularly relevant given our HOH result. There's still a lot that is missing from these episodes, but we at least got some amount of information prior to the nomination episode about why the nominations might be the way they are.
I mean,
good. I don't know. I kind of felt like it took the wind out of the sails for next week, because we did get it very clearly stated that Whitney would be a target, Hannah would be a target. I would almost say don't at me at Rob, but I kind of feel like they gave us
Pineapple
too much.
27 is my Twitter handle.
Pineapple Boy 27, and they gave us like a little bit too much. Where even casuals, like even the Facebook commenters who I like to argue with once in a while, are probably feeling like, okay, we know what's gonna happen this week. Well, we don't need to watch. I don't know why they sound like this, but that's Facebook for you.
That's what a Facebook person sounds like, obviously.
Uh.
I think the thing is I can kind of see both sides. It's nice to get a bit of the setup. However, with how fast everything has been moving and how the game is changing so much, I feel like it's honestly a mistake to give us too much of a preview of what's going to come, because it will be really hard for them to build a narrative in the edited show if things do change as they are wont to do in the Big Brother 23 house.
Yeah, I think that we should commend them for even like having a whole segment about the strategy coming up in the
All
house.
right, we're going way too far here. The bar is so low that I can't even trip over it at this point.
Yeah, the bar is in hell.
The bar is on
too much information.
Like where they got that camera angle of Brent from like up his nose tonight.
Yeah, we didn't need that one.
I just also I was like starting to feel a little bit bad for Brent just because he looked so sad and broken in his eyes. And then I remembered, who he is, and I fixed that. But I can't take someone seriously who's gonna wear the bandana and the aviators and their shirt unbuttoned down to their belly button. I was just like, who is this guy? I couldn't respect him. Sorry.
Yeah. He brought back the Big Brother 5 bandana.
Yes, exactly.
It was a throwback to Jace and Scott Long.
I was gonna say that was definitely a callback. He was giving a shout out to Jace and Scott.
He definitely knows who that is.
Huge super fan.
Yeah. See, Kirsten, go see if he has any pictures of their Instagram comments on his celeb sightings Instagram story.
There'll definitely be a lot of pictures of him side by side with him with that bandana on. But other than that, I don't think he's ever heard of them. Yeah.
So, all right. I guess Brent, he didn't give us like really anything. Like it's just such a lackluster speech tonight with his campaign. I would have liked to have seen. It's hard to root against somebody who's giving you just like nothing.
Yeah. I feel like they just need to start casting people for the reaction when they're evicted. Like, if anything, that's what I was shocked by, that he didn't just fall apart or emote in any type of way. That was the tough part.
Yeah, it's called toxic masculinity, Matt.
But still, he's on Big Brother. Like, they're over the top in the DRs. Like, you can be over the top when you're meeting Julie, just for the cameras, just for us.
Matt, I felt like that Brent was giving you it's just a game. I didn't care that much. I didn't really care that, they want to get rid of me because I'm such a big threat, because I'm so good at this game, because I'm so awesome. But, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I'm just so much above this.
He's like, I was doing the same thing too. I was also blindsiding people.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you blindside, Brent? Yourself? Like, get out of here.
Yeah. Just didn't care enough. So
I mean, I think that he cared. I think that just like he had time to slowly process it. Like, people don't usually come out guns blazing unless they really weren't expecting it. Like, most of the time, like, and the thing too is that, like, if we did get fire from him, it would just be the same annoying, like, well, it's because I'm a straight shooter that they took me out, and all these people are gonna regret it later. Like, I don't need to hear that either.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. And just that I couldn't get over that he spent so long with Julie Chen Moonves. I mean, I feel like that the Travis interview was like, all right, 2 questions. All right, we'll see you when we see you. Even Frenchie was just a couple of questions. They did a whole segment with Brent. Kirsten. What was the plan here?
So I think that Julie was trying to get Brent to admit that he was shocked, that he was blindsided, that he did not have it coming. So she just kept asking him the same question, rephrased, hoping that she would get a different answer. But that's, again, Brent's actions match up to his words, okay? So he's always going to say the same thing. And so she just wasn't getting anything from it. And then was not able to pivot, change her questioning, move on to something else.
She was stuck in a loop.
She was stuck, And so, I don't know. I feel like all of the evicted house guests so far have all just spilled word salad, each and every one of them, and Brent was no exception.
I don't think anybody told Julie that he knew it was coming. because she was like so shocked that he wouldn't tell her how shocked he was that she couldn't pivot and ask something different. And like the episode even opened on her being like, Brent couldn't be happier about the veto knob, and the shot was on Brent looking like he was the most miserable person in the house. Like it was a whole like you guys, did you not see that it was ruined?
Yeah, Julia's episode only,
Taryn.
Taryn.
Hope it's fine.
I think Julie watches the live feeds.
Yes.
No.
She's too busy putting on matching leggings and sweaters.
They didn't need to do that to Julie. Oh,
who's they?
First of all,
dress her?
I don't think she chose that for herself.
I thought she looked kind of like a flight attendant tonight. You know, a little bit like classed up. But
perfect.
Yeah, she was ready. She just was ready for the wrong thing.
You know what? That's what I'm gonna wear next time I go on a plane for sure. A matching sweater and leggings.
It's very comfortable.
It looks great.
Yeah. So, on the bright side, Kirsten, Brittany did not rap.
I know. I was planning to come in and try to also rap like Jenny Autumn, but I didn't get very far, and then my brain is really bad today, so I couldn't think of anything.
You have so much cooking in your mental.
Yeah, I have so much cooking in my mental. But I didn't get anything. But it was gonna be great. It was gonna be iconic. But I couldn't think of anything. I was busy today.
Rob, to correct you, she did rap, and she rapped enough. It was one line, and then she decided to go for like the Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison spoken word. And I don't know which I prefer. Honest, actually, you know what? I prefer her rapping just because it's a lot funnier to see everyone else's reactions.
Yeah, I mean, she's like sort of like tried to sneak a rap in of it, like with a fake out, but then she still is gonna like rhyme. It was rap adjacent, Taran.
Yeah, well, remember last time we talked about this, I said that like it was basically that kind of like I'm rapping, but I'm not that serious about it. I just kind of secretly am serious about it, but outwardly it's ironic. So she's done that once now, and now she's at the like. So I've done it ironically once. If I do it again, now it seems like I'm doing it seriously. So if I still want to get in my mad rapping skills, I need to go one step below that, which is, oh, look at me starting to rap. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that again because I'm not serious about it. It's just ironic. But let me do some rhymes for you.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's offensive to the genre of rap to associate her with it.
And it's also just like last week, Julie really was curious about the rap. She was excited about the rap. She dived in. She asked Brittany what was going on. And Brittany, I think, admitted to like writing the rap on Sunday and then practicing it for the next 4 or however many math days. But this, I just wonder how long this one took her because it was something. I was kind of lost and not paying attention to what she was saying at this point.
Writing a bad rap is not easy. Okay, it actually probably takes more skill than writing something good to be bad on purpose.
Yeah, just to sort of look back in hindsight, I think she nailed the execution. I feel like that she could have taken like another day or two on the writing, and then because I feel like that she's nailing it. I think that maybe just like maybe do a draft and then like put it in a drawer.
And a lot of criticism from people who have not done any rapping on this podcast.
Where's your rap, Taran?
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing.
Criticizing.
I'm not criticizing nothing.
Okay,
I've got too much mental going on in my perceived body.
Yeah.
So I just think that I would never touch the brilliance that is Brittany and her rapping, but you guys talking a big game with no rap.
So what you're saying is we should all do a quick rap, right?
Exactly.
That's not happening on this podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not.
That's why I love you, Matt.
Yeah.
We brought up Derek F already, but it bears replaying.
Hello, Derek.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
Yes.
I sadly to a vote Brent.
I sadly to evote.
Yeah. Okay.
He did something similar last week too.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think.
So tonight he sadly to a vote Brent.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Derek.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I sadly to evict Brittany.
Yeah.
I said to
Last week,
evict.
he sadly to evict Brittany.
Yeah, language is
He was sadly
evolving,
to
Rob.
vote.
Over the course of 2 weeks, he has managed to vote to evict. If you take apart the words that he has now said the complete sentence, you just need to remove some of the extras.
Again, language grows and changes over time.
Yes.
It evolves. It is a beautiful, rich tapestry, and he's just obviously ahead of us. He's on the next level. One day we can aspire to have such a handle on the English language, okay? We're not there yet.
Yeah. So Rob, Brittany has great raps. Everything's perfect about that. But we have problems with Derek and him choosing different words. He just it's a choice. I hope it's a choice.
It's for style points, baby.
Yeah.
Next week, he is going to sadly to and I'm not sure where we take it from here. Is it like we gotta hope he's not on the block so he gets to vote?
I mean, I'm curious to know how his speech would go.
Yeah.
Please don't vote me.
Oh, no.
All right.
Wait, what?
Avoid? Is that what you said? Avoid him?
Yeah,
Or
don't vote him. Yeah.
Wait, do you not want us to vote for? Wait, what are you saying, Derek?
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I don't actually know how voting works, so I don't know what to ask for from you.
Yeah. I just get the sense that they went over it with him like 15 times. Like, all right, remember, I sadly vote to like I got it. I sadly vote for Brent. So
What was it that Dina Lohan said again? I evict to vote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's working towards that.
Don't
Okay,
bring
we'll get
Dina
there.
into this. We don't need to bring up Dina Lohan in 2021.
I mean, she got brought up last week. I could bring her back up.
He's just abbreviating. He just took out the vict.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about Julie's interview with Brent. I think that the big takeaway will definitely be that he was just such a big threat, and it was a good move to get rid of him. You know why?
Like I said, it's best to get me out because I had a lot of things cooking in my mental. So
Yeah. So many things, Matt. So many things cooking in the mental.
Yeah, that I feel that way a lot. Just a lot of cooking and stirring and pots.
It's been a long day.
Pans. Yeah, the spices. Oh, lots of spices. Maybe some hot sauce too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very lost because now I'm thinking like there was obviously the conversation between Whitney and Brent that where Whitney tried to convince Brent that he wasn't playing a good game and he didn't believe it. But now I'm confused. Like, was it the right choice to get rid of him? Was it the wrong choice? I don't know who to believe. And I'm as lost as Brent is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many things cooking.
Yeah.
You know, when your body perceives your highly intelligence, things are cooking in your mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
I have a question though, because he said that if he had stayed this week, he would have blown things up, that he was going to really cause some problems. Now, what do you think that looks like from Brent Champagne?
Well, in his mind, he was on the precipice of controlling the entire house.
Yeah.
And so I think that while he got a heads up that he was not going to stay, he did not realize that that was all a fantasy. I think he feels like I was so close, like I was about to grasp it, and then something went wrong. I don't know how, but it just was taken away at the last second. When in reality, you know, he was sitting in a box by himself.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're not going to get all of those airline puns like the safety sign is off and I'm coming for everyone.
This is your captain speaking. We're going to need you to put your seatbelt on. We've definitely hit a bit of turbulence here. This is a bit of a rough patch. Okay, this plane is going down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very sorry to say.
No pretzels or peanuts for you guys. I'm serious about this one. What is?
Wait, do they still give peanuts on planes?
I really hope not. I'm allergic. So
yeah, it was like people are very allergic to peanuts. I feel like you can't have them anywhere.
Yeah,
and allergic to Brent. So,
it's true. You
Yeah,
also can't have him
exactly.
anywhere.
okay. All right. So, that's anything else on Brent Champagne tonight?
I think there's been plenty.
There's plenty. Okay. All right. So again, we will have our Brent interview coming for you on Friday. I'm very curious to know about how this HOH competition, which took place in teams. First, Taran, did you like this?
I loved the concept of this competition. I thought it was really cool. It was a weirdly laid out competition. They played in teams, and the winner of the HOH competition is the person who places the last piece. I love that they're forced to cycle through their team. It was I really liked a lot of how this competition worked. Hated the execution of it.
From production or from the players?
From production. The fact that the competition ended while we were watching the aces, we're watching Derek X put pieces on, and all of a sudden there's a ding, and I'm like, oh.
Like, who won?
No, we went to the to fish.
Yeah. Because it was like Derek X fish, Derek X.
Then finally we see the Kings celebrate. Okay, the Kings, but which one of the Kings? We're waiting. We're waiting. Congratulations, Christian. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, in fairness, there's a very good explanation. Big Brother brought back Frenchie to direct tonight's episode. So that was the issue there.
Are you bored yet?
The artistic genius. The metaphor of the big fish
was about to win. Cut away from that.
He cut to the fish to say, look, what did I tell you? The big fish has now won the HOH. They were telling us who won the HOH.
Wow.
We just couldn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not highly intelligent enough for their artistic level.
Yeah.
This is way over our heads, but we have to really thank old Green Thumbs for that one. Thank you.
Yeah. Kirsten, what do you think that in terms of when this was a week when they talked all about who was going to get the HOH, did you like that they gave them a competition which actually allowed them to sort of arrange who on their team ended up getting the HOH?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept. I liked that it's a little different than another team competition would be. It was very strange. I feel like almost everyone is throwing this competition because I can't believe in my heart that they're that bad at a puzzle. I can't accept it. I cannot perceive it.
Yeah, it was going on for a while.
I cannot perceive with my body how bad they were at puzzles if they were not throwing it.
Yes. Most of them were trying. The Queens, I think, were the only team that were actually throwing.
Now, I saw Azza put a piece on fully backwards with the curve towards the inside. That can't possibly be what she thought was right.
She really wanted to win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Sam Stanish tweeted out, this is 13 Caitlins at once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also just the second Christian was, Christian just wrecked this puzzle. He got so far so fast, and then Alyssa gave it a shot, got nowhere. In fact, made it worse by putting a wrong piece on. Then Sarah Beth made no progress. Then Christian made more progress. Then Alyssa made no progress again. Then Sarah Beth finally came in with some pieces, and then Christian finished it off. I was genuinely just tap the buzzer. Just run out, run right back, tap the buzzer. Let Christian do this because he's the only one actually making progress.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sarah Beth was throwing it.
She made a lot. She ended up making a lot of progress, and she definitely wanted her teammates to win. She didn't want to win herself, but she definitely wanted either Alyssa or Christian to win. So,
and it also, I don't know if this is where this is just a confusing comp to watch because I thought the Jokers were going to take the win. It looked like they were close, and that would have been a trip. But how could the Kings not win here? Because Hannah was hesitant about winning and being HOH. Derek X was. The Queens were. So you didn't have a lot of people who were really going for it that weren't Kings, because half the people who were going for it were Kings.
So most recently, the Aces had decided that they did want to go for it. Whitney was probably the person that was least willing to go for it. Obviously, Derek X didn't want to take it himself, but Derek X, I believe, definitely would have been trying here. Hannah definitely would have been trying. That happened recently. Whitney, we can't be sure because we don't know exactly where her head is at. But I definitely think that Derek X was probably trying to do his best in order to give it to somebody else. Hannah was probably trying her best, and maybe only Whitney was lagging. Even then, I think Whitney would have loved to give it to Derek X or Hannah. So I think she was probably trying as well. The Jokers did have a base down, but I'm pretty sure that it was wrong.
That's what I was wondering because I was trying to see if the pattern matched because then they really were struggling with the other pieces that were there. I was like, oh, the Joker's HOH. That's going to be actually very interesting. But then ultimately they just flamed out.
Yeah,
embarrassing.
So it was really a race between the aces and the kings, as it was always going to be. And it did seem like Derek X was getting really close. I'm sure he would have loved to tap out and give it to whoever came next. And I think they would have taken it. But, then Christian came in.
I don't know who said this, but during this competition, you could hear a male voice saying, flip it like a shoe. And I don't know what that means.
The ghost of Big Jeff?
Oh, of course, naturally. I actually like my existing relationship with clown shoes.
Yeah, flip like a shoe. That's smart. Who flipped the shoe? Maybe it was Fessy. So, all right, a Christian HOH here. So interesting. So the Kings end up safe. That's Christian, Alyssa, Xavier, and Sarah Beth. Taran, based on what you know at this hour, what was the plan if Christian became the HOH?
So there's a little bit of intrigue here because this morning, after his talk with Hannah the night before, Christian had approached Alyssa and said, hey, maybe we shouldn't put Hannah on the block. Maybe we shouldn't target Hannah. And Alyssa fought pretty hard against this idea. She said that they should put Hannah on the block. And it seemed like Christian was pretty hesitant about it. Like, hey, if I win, maybe I don't do it. But by the time they talked to Tiffany about it, and Tiffany was very against the idea of putting Hannah on the block, they were a united front arguing for putting Hannah on the block. But there's definitely the idea, the seed in his head that perhaps he doesn't want to do this because he thinks that Hannah trusts him a lot, and that, it might ruin that relationship unnecessarily. And maybe Whitney is a better target. And so maybe they should use somebody else or do something else. But either way, there is the idea in his head that maybe he wouldn't do that. Obviously, Xavier, Tiffany, Kyland, they definitely don't want this to happen. So there's going to be a lot of pushback to the idea, but Sarah Beth really does want it to happen. And Xavier already gave some really compelling arguments for why the Jokers shouldn't touch the block. So I would expect Hannah and Whitney nominations, but I can't guarantee them by any means. And to add to the complications here, there's the wild card competition, which Whitney will be playing in. She is the only person eligible left on her team. So she has a 1 in 3 shot at winning safety, potentially. She may turn it down, depending on what she thinks she has. And then if that happens, chaos reigns, right? It could be... it very likely would be, okay, then we're still targeting Hannah, but let's put up Azah or Big D as a pawn next to Hannah in order to target Hannah, which would obviously be disastrous for the cookout because that's 2 cookout members next to each other, which is exactly why I told Xavier in my head when I was watching him on the feeds, stop trying to convince them to put up Hannah. But there's a lot of different ways this can happen this week. There's going to be a lot of different conflicting interests happening. Most likely outcome, Hannah and Whitney on the block with Whitney going home, but there's a lot of potential complications to the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. I just can't. I just can't stop thinking about my mental is going on and on.
There's a lot cooking.
Christian and Alyssa are gonna be up in the HOH room a lot this week, and I just don't want to see it. And I don't look.
It's all right. They're like siblings. Don't worry about it.
A lot.
No, that makes it worse.
Taran, really?
Don't look at me.
Don't say
That's
that.
what they're saying. All right.
I know it's so. It is so weird. It is definitely something people say, like when someone is like wheeling with someone, and people are like, "Ooh, what's going on?" It's like, "Oh no, I just love him like a brother." No, you don't. Stop it. Don't say it.
Maybe they're trying to tell you something. I don't know.
Don't say you love anyone like a brother who is not your brother. I don't even care. Just to be safe.
Yeah, I don't think we need to hear that again.
Never.
Well, I love Taran and Matt like a brother.
Well, yeah, I think everyone
That's
here
fine.
can safely say that we love each other like brothers.
That's right. Definitely.
Don't tell me what I can't say.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes. Okay. The Christian and Alyssa thing, could definitely escalate this week. Kirsten, that could, with 1 week left before jury, paint a really big target on both of their backs too, right?
I mean, in theory, yes, but we've seen a lot in recent years how beneficial a showmance is and how far they go into the game, typically. So,
and they already had a target on their back. So,
they actually walked into the house with a target on their back because they're so
they were
physical.
the big fish, the big fish in the bait.
Yeah.
Yes. The perceived physical. We love it.
Yeah. So then, how is the wild card competition going to go? So we're assuming it has to be Whitney for the aces.
It also has to be Claire for the
Claire.
Queen.
Okay.
And then either Azza or Big D for the Jokers.
Okay, so we want Claire to win.
Well, what's interesting is that it might be in Claire's best interest to throw this to Whitney, because Whitney being safe would, as I mentioned, cause some chaos that Claire could potentially take advantage of, given that she is kind of locked outside of a big alliance.
Yeah, but I'm talking about my best interest.
Your best interest. Yeah. I mean, Chaos Claire would be nice to see, because she has had, at least in the edit, like a sleepier edit. So who knows? Maybe we will get something like that. But I'm curious, like, I just kind of imagine Big D is going to be the one competing, because I don't see Azza putting up a big fight for that spot, and Big D wants to compete. He's apparently a comp beast.
Yeah,
from
it's in his
what
blood.
He's told us. Yeah,
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
Boxing pun.
Yeah, we'll see that play out on
Rocky music.
Yeah, we'll see it play out on Friday. On
the wild card will be running up steps.
Yeah. Okay. And anything else on Christian and him being the HOH?
I mean, this guy is ridiculous in competitions. He's won almost everything he's competed in, and he basically carried this entire puzzle. Sarah Beth did contribute a few pieces there, but he by himself did probably 3/4 of the whole thing, while his teammates actively made it harder. He's done so well in these competitions. He is somebody that you really need to watch out for in this game. I think that people see him as a competition threat, but maybe now they'll finally start to see that he is a really, really big competition threat. But the fact that he hasn't been a main target for a while is pretty strange to me, because he is just really wrecking these things.
He's under a blanket. They can't see him, Taran. They can't perceive him, so they can't target him.
They can't perceive his body.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. We didn't talk about the goodbye messages for Brent. And he got a couple of good ones from the house guests. Some people were pretty kind to him. Others were, a little harder on Brent. Hannah had a message for Brent. Here's what she had to say to Brent.
Oh, Brent. The number 2 rule in Big Brother is if you feel too comfortable or safe, that's usually a good indication that you're going home. But unfortunately, your arrogance didn't allow you to see that.
So that's the number 2 rule. Matt, what's the number 1 rule?
Ask Jacob Jones.
Yeah, probably that's it. Ask Jacob Jones.
I don't want to ask Jacob Jones.
He knows about number 1.
That's in the Big Brother pool.
Yeah, he's Jacob's there right now. No, I don't know why. Why did you have to number the rules?
Is that the number 1 rule?
Is there a rule book?
Do you think that maybe
get Chrissy to check the rule book?
Yeah, Brent, rule number 1 in the Big Brother house was blah blah blah. Rule number 2 is don't, when you're safe, don't go around, and there's probably something going on. Rule number 3, maybe she just had gave the whole BR rules.
Yeah, haven't you ever watched Zombieland? It's just like that.
Yeah. The first rule of the Big Brother house: there is no Big Brother house.
Is that the first rule of Zombieland?
I mean, it's really just a soundstage. So
this is a mess. This is a mess. And Brent's mental really messed with my mental. And now I don't know how we're podcasting about any of this right now. This is ridiculous. How does she just jumped to number 2? They could have maybe cut that part out or something.
she could have just said a big rule.
All right,
Big Brother. Why did it have to be the number 2 rule?
Yeah, I had mixed feelings on this goodbye message. I love this. I love the just she just went full force. She could have gone harder on Brent, but she really made it clear that she was very pleased to see him go. And I appreciated that. And love the I'm doing the air at the airplane. I'm doing the movements. My problem was that Tiffany also did that. You got to coordinate better. You can't do the same joke twice in one goodbye message montage. All right. And then the third thing I had mixed feelings on was the fact that basically what she said, the number 2 rule in Big Brother is if you feel too comfortable, you're going home, which is what I've been yelling at Hannah through the screen about all week long, as she was very comfortable throwing this HOH when she is a primary target for the person who just won. And it took way too long for her to finally decide that she was going to play for it.
Taran, this is the second time tonight you've said that you are yelling at the house guest this season. I feel like that I don't hear you normally talk about how you yell at the screen during the season.
Well, he's new to the state. He's within range with a megaphone now. He couldn't before.
You're like a wall yeller.
I mean, Rob, I yell at my screen on a 5 times a day basis.
Oh,
on podcasts.
Yes,
that's true.
With the goodbye messages, why did every man who left a goodbye message was a coward? Why were they all so nice to him? Why?
And why did we have to see any of it? Just give us Hannah. Just extend the Hannah message. Have her go into all the things, how uncomfortable he made her. Just give her the time. Give Hannah the time. She deserves it. It was odd that we did get that message from Derek X that he was a target. We don't need Brent feeling like he was justified in thinking that he's the one who should have gone out. He knows that already.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, that he feels that way.
He feels that way.
Also,
already.
This whole thing that Brent had about well, it's not surprising coming from Derek X after he betrayed me in week 1.
Yeah,
I was immediately brought. I was like, this guy.
Yeah, I mean, what was he even talking about? He's like, they gave him 3 allies to start the game, and then this guy. He's going out and trying to make other allies that aren't even on his team. I don't even understand. What an idiot!
Plotting against me.
What
are you doing?
It's very obvious. The number 1 rule of Big Brother is when you go into the house and they put you on a team, you have to ride or die with that team, and you're not allowed to look elsewhere for allies. Come on, what are you thinking?
Yeah, because they always have the teams, of course.
It's a crucial part of Big Brother. The teams.
Yeah, it shows a crucial, amongst many, lack of understanding that Brent has when it comes to the relationships that he builds, that he sees Derek X as the person who is most likely to betray him, when consistently Derek X has been the person probably most loyal to him in the game, bar none, other than perhaps Frenchie. But we saw how that went as well. So it's he certainly on the team was the person who was most loyal to Brent, and put up with Brent quite a bit. Not that I mean everybody did, but it's just very telling that he's the person that he most suspected as the betrayer.
Well, oh, sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like Brent was really looking for people to single out, even though he was voted out unanimously. I think maybe he didn't grasp that and wrap his head around that, but he was calling out Kyland a little bit too. It's like like, sir, they all voted you out. Nobody really wanted
Yeah.
you there.
Not one
I'm
person.
sorry.
No,
Yeah.
they all just went with the numbers.
Well, of course. Well, I mean, the numbers are
Obviously.
there, so of course you're just going to go with the numbers. Like, what
Rob,
else
how
do you do?
how this game works is that you got some numbers, and when the numbers are there, you got to go with those numbers. So just to educate you a little bit from my mental to help you understand.
Yeah, well, I'm not a flight attendant or an
At
accountant.
this point, I shouldn't even be a flight attendant. I should become an accountant because I'm absolutely crushing these numbers.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a
Crushed by the
missed
numbers.
opportunity last night to talk about how Brent probably could be a TikTok accountant. Maybe that's what he was talking about.
Oh,
Yes,
I thought
a
you were saying.
TikTok accountant.
Ugh,
How does that work, Kirsten?
Please don't.
It starts with a little website called OnlyFans.
Oh,
Accountant means something else in the TikTok streets.
see, I
Oh,
didn't
boy.
know
Oh.
that.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
that
that.
because there's a lot of Big
Oh.
Brother accountants. I
Well,
had no idea.
Because
Wow.
there's like an audio that's like it didn't. They're like, oh yeah, if anyone asks me about what my job is, I just tell them I'm an accountant. Nobody asks you questions when you say you're an accountant. And it's from like a struggling actor, but then a bunch of accountants started using it. It's like, what do you do? I'm an accountant. Where do you work? In a place where accountants work. Like that's
Mm.
and no one asks you questions.
Yeah. Brent
That's a good
Champagne is a
strategy.
great name for an accountant, by the way.
Honestly,
Mm,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great name
Yeah.
for any job, really.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, and then eventually, like if you want to be a VIP, you go to the champagne room of the accountant place.
Mm.
Yeah, for
I'm-
a private
Rob, I think you're
champagne
choosing. I think it's the
van.
Brent room. You're choosing the wrong name.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I don't know what I was cooking in my mental there.
Mhm.
All right. What else about this night of Big Brother? I feel like the stage is set for an interesting week, but we didn't get a ton from this episode.
Yeah, but maybe I'm hoping for too much when I'm looking for things in the episode. But
how dare you,
but yeah,
Taran.
we could have gotten
Yeah.
more. I think the thing to look for here, first of all, if you're not keeping up with the feeds, I need to continue to make it clear here that you are missing out so dramatically on this season. There's so much going on. Daily there is weeks of gameplay happening. So many things have changed and shifted, and the reason why these targets are emerging are not coming anywhere near the show. But I think the thing to look out for here, if you are paying attention to the feeds, or if you're looking for like how are things going to play out from here, we are likely going to see a discussion between Alyssa and Christian on should we do Hannah. We are going to see many members of the cookout, at least the ones involved in Royal Flush, push Alyssa and Christian obviously primarily, to avoid nominating Hannah and probably try to push it onto Brittany. That's going to be their ideal scenario. Probably get some pushback from Christian, particularly, who recently said to Brittany that he may want to make a final two with her soon. Very unlikely that he would budge on that unless he's just going to straight up target her. There's really no reason to put her on the block as a pawn. So they're going to have to try and figure something out there. They're going to really make sure that they want Whitney as the target. We're going to see Whitney probably talk with them. They're probably going to want to try and convince Whitney that that she's completely safe, because they know she's playing in the wild card and they don't want to have to nominate anybody but her. And so they're probably going to be promising her, you're totally good, because in the event that she wins, they're going to want her to turn the safety down, at which point they would, I assume, nominate her, although by then they may feel so bad about having convinced her to turn it down that they may not. So there's a lot that can happen there. Then with the veto and all of that, like there's a lot to look out for here, even though we are looking at what is potentially a somewhat straightforward week. There's a lot of maneuvering that's going to be happening here in the next
And
couple of days.
if this sounds overwhelming to people, if you're not as up on the live feeds and you're like, that's a lot, I don't know what to do with this. This season, the live feed updates, it's like a bus. Like you miss a day or two of feeds, the next one is coming, and you can just start from there and just pretend that what came before didn't happen because it's changing so fast. Just move on. Just move forward.
Yeah.
Don't look back. You can still get on the bus. There's lots of seats available.
Yeah, I mean, what I try to do with the live feed updates is give you a sort of summary of where we're at and why before going into what's going on. So absolutely, I think more than really any other season, perhaps besides Big Brother Canada 6, make sure you're at least tuning into the live feed updates.
Now, Kirsten, we've had two very disciplined HOHs in a row following Frenchie getting the season started in Kyland and Xavier. How do you think Christian is going to run his HOH? Do you think it's going to be sort of sloppy? Do you think that it's really just going to be other people running the HOH for him and just telling him what to do?
So on a scale from Frenchie to Kyland and Xavier, where is Christian? I mean, in my heart, I'm hoping he's closer to a Frenchie because I want the chaos.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what we want. But I think it's just going to be, this is the part I'm disappointed about with one of the Kings, well, with the Kings winning and with Christian being HOH, just because I feel like it might be a little flat. I don't see how things will be shaken up, but who knows? Like if we don't see Whitney or Hannah leaving, or if we don't see both of them on the block this time, this time minus about an hour and a half next week, like, that would be nice, but I don't really know what to think because Christian's such a solid player. Like I don't no, we're not going to have Frenchie 2.0.
No, I don't have as much faith in him to run his HOH as smoothly as a Kylander and Xavier. I just don't think he's quite there. I think he'll be fine. I think he's replacement level.
Taran, do you have any thoughts on how the Christian HOH might run?
I mean, it's not. I think that Xavier was sort of like a shadow of the structure that Kyland's was. I don't expect Christian to try and follow the same structure. By the end of Xavier's run, it was like, yeah, we can have one-on-one meetings on a voluntary basis. So it basically was just people coming up and talking.
Yeah.
I think that Christian will likely talk to people. Will Alyssa be there for those conversations? It depends on if Alyssa is smart enough to not be there for those conversations.
Right.
And then I expect it to be much messier, especially because, again, there are a lot of different agendas that people are going to want to push onto Christian. A lot of people think that they can manipulate Christian and that they have a lot of sway over his decisions. So I expect that people will be pushing pretty hard on him here.
Okay. Also, Julie told us next Thursday night we are going to have an endurance comp that is going to play out on the feeds. Taran, am I correct in interpreting that will also mark the end of the teams?
I'm very convinced. Yes, I think
Mike Bloom confirmed that on Twitter today too.
Whoa!
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Bloom for breaking the story.
Boom. No more teams. I would expect no more wild card competition. We will see the endurance play out on the Sunday night episode, which I think is a good thing because overall, I think it'll take up less time, and they tend to talk strategy during the competition, which I appreciate. They also tend to use that time to do some flashbacks and show some extra stuff. So I'm expecting that Sunday episode to hopefully be good, as long as we don't get a really bad result. And it should be a lot of fun. That we're going to see it on the feeds. I feel like last season was kind of spotty whether or not we saw some of these endurance competitions on the feeds. So the fact that they said we would means hopefully we will.
Okay.
You just believe them now?
Coming up next Thursday night. All right. Let's check the results of our poll from tonight. Were you happy with tonight's HOH results? I know we have the census coming up on Renap very soon. Kirsten, what do you think the audience said?
I am going to say...
what percentage said that, yes, they were happy with tonight's HOH results?
I am going to set the over-under at 15%.
15%. Okay. Let's take a look. The answer there is 27%
Wow,
of people
okay.
were happy with tonight's HOH results from the very scientific poll at RHAP Grams on Instagram. 73% said no, they were not happy with the HOH results. Why? Who would the audience have preferred?
Well, I can tell you that from the poll that I conducted for the roundtable, the top pick was Hannah, followed by Whitney, followed by Derek X. So basically, the entirety, any of the aces, would have been preferable.
All right. Okay. All right, I guess let's take a couple of questions here from the listeners of Rob as a Podcast. Of course, you can email us or use the Google form at robasawebsite.com/bbquestions. Josh says, what do you cook in your mental? Boring chicken? Heyo.
Wow.
This isn't a food podcast.
I don't like to talk about food. This is not a food podcast, okay?
Josh is attacking you here.
Yeah. What about what you cook in your mental? All right?
Yeah. It's pretty empty. That's typically how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mental does not have a lot left in there at the end of today.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Question from Sarah. Who will be in the most trouble when the team's twist ends? Any candidates for big trouble for the team twist ending?
I mean, given that it's next week, I think Alyssa and Christian are in the most trouble, period. And not to mention the fact that I think that Xavier is probably not willing to be the person to take the shot at them if he doesn't have to be, but certainly is not going to be protecting them as much as he already isn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, 4 kings. Also, I think that the house is out of balance until at least one king goes home.
Right.
I think that people are going to be constantly looking at well, there's 4 kings still in the game. There's 4 kings.
It could also be bad for Sarah Beth, as people may not see her as protected as she once was, and they may see her as an easy pawn.
Paul wants to know, should the guys consider targeting Tiffany? Which guys?
Nope. Leave Tiffany alone.
Yeah, I can only speak for myself, but I should say absolutely not. No one should even consider perceiving that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course they should consider targeting Tiffany. They should consider targeting the queens in general.
Karen, take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a no tap apology. This is it's time for that.
Yeah, honestly.
Seriously, did you see? She could be a flight attendant from the way that she did the little.
She could do anything. Tiffany could do anything she put her mind to. She's allowed.
Yeah,
it's fine.
They can target her and she can get out of it.
Yeah. Tiffany can do anything. I think that she has gotten into the house. I think is starting to realize oh my God, I have absolute power. Taran, I heard some of her plans on the live feed update. These are very elaborate plans for week 3.
Yes.
Do you feel like that she's in danger of overplaying?
No.
No.
I literally just an hour ago went on a rant about this. But I do not think that overplaying is a concept that needs to exist. I think that there's playing. There's no such thing as playing too much. There's only playing poorly. Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And while I think that she should be thinking and playing the game more, that she needs to be thinking more about the feelings of the people that she's interacting with. She needs to be thinking more about the different dynamics between these people and how things will play out. She's overthinking in the sense that she's underthinking some simple concepts of what might happen in her plan for the long term. So I think that she needs to take a breath and think more on her plan, which instead of making the decision to immediately go out and start trying to enact it, she needs to figure it out some more.
Because
she could keep some of it in her head. Some of the plan could stay there.
This is coming from someone. I drafted Tiffany. Okay, so nobody's more invested in Tiffany than me. That being said, like I'm hearing some of these things. I'm like, boy, I wish she was thinking more about like what's happening on day 22 as opposed to day 72.
I hear that, but at the same time, like again, like I don't think it's a problem of looking too far ahead. I think it's a problem of the fact that she keeps changing her mind more so than anything else. And I think that she, the night before had just gone on about how Kyland is the danger, and he's the one who knocks. And then the following morning, she was like, actually, I want to go to the end with Kyland again. And so she changed it up entirely and she gave a whole new plan. And instead of, sticking with, formulating the original one, she's now formulating a new one. And, when we look at players like Vanessa or like Cody, all of these players that had a lot of long-term success, did a lot of long-term planning and a lot of action, especially in these early weeks. That's never going to be something that I criticize. But I think that she does need to be careful about the plans that she's making, because I do think that this cookout plan is a very interesting one. It's one that definitely can work, but as I said, I think that she's not thinking it all the way through, and that she needs to be a little bit more careful about, how she thinks she's going to make this work.
I think with Tiffany, I get the vibe that she's the kind of person who wants to think about how she can solve problems before they are a problem. And she does it so proactively that she doesn't let things develop even a little bit. I think you need to kind of let things cook a tiny bit more before you can go into, okay, I'm going to solve this problem and not worry about it anymore, right? That's kind of the sense that I get. It's I think that it's just like, she's like, okay, well, I've thought this out to its logical conclusion. So now I can go based off of that versus, okay, but this is what's happening right now. And there are a lot of people involved. So it might not actually go out to what you see as the logical conclusion in your head. That's like the only kind of concern that I would have.
Yeah, and I think she's such a bold player, but all it really takes for her, I think, is one, feeling too comfortable with the way that she's playing and not with the social side of things, the emotional side of things. And then the other aspect of it, I think, with her is just like boldly making the wrong move. And that could happen with her. Like she can't, Rob, I'm sorry, but I don't think she's gonna hold up for you at some point.
Matt, take it back.
This will fall apart. This will fall apart. I'm saying it to put it out there. I want to be wrong. I'm usually wrong on the Wrestling Wrap Up about everything I say. So let's hope I'm wrong here too.
I'm waiting for your Notes app apology, Matt.
Okay.
Well, look, here's the thing that maybe things won't go according to her plan, but you hope that she's good enough to be able to figure out then how to pick up the pieces and put it back together. So
we do
come up with a different way to go.
I mean, it's worth noting that Tiffany has been so good and has been playing so well and so hard that she is in the position that she has two completely separate paths to the end. And we're talking about like, is it a problem that she's choosing one over the other? Which one is better for her? And the thing is, you're right. If one of them fails, she does have the other as a backup. Either way she goes. And that, I think, is a result of how hard she's been playing. So that's why I think, the amount of playing she's done has been good. But there are some sloppiness here and there that I'm concerned about.
Okay. All right. Let's do one more question. Julie's air hug says, as a fan of the show, if you were on Big Brother, would you want to someone to warn you of a blindside before eviction, or would you rather be truly blindsided?
I would want to be warned just so I could
Jordan Parhart.
So I could practice my reaction. Like, oh my god, oh no, the shock.
As the only person on the panel, I guess, who's been truly blindsided on the show.
Yeah.
Hey. Speak for yourself.
Would you say you were blindsided? You were felt 50-50?
No, I knew I wasn't making it in.
Yeah, how did you know?
Gonna say anything.
I just got like this. The minute I stepped out, I got a weird vibe. I don't know.
Yeah.
My face was sad the whole time.
Yeah.
So
they opened the episode on Kirsten is extremely happy about her current situation.
She's ready. She's been sitting in a minivan for 8 hours and she's ready to go.
Yeah. So as someone who's gotten a blindside, I'd rather know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like at least then you could
easily.
like have a chance to say something, like even if it's futile.
Yeah, because at least you can try. You can try to fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like for my final episode on the show to be like Mitch Moffat, like going out with nothing left in the tank, rather than like look at that idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or some out for Mitch Moffat.
Yeah. Taran, you saying that's what it was like for me?
Rob, you didn't have to go there. I mean, you said it, not me.
Well, first Jason Curtis Rivera.
Maybe you don't love Taran like a brother.
No. Brothers fight.
Do you know how sad I was as a young man watching Survivor, All Stars, and Amazon. I was so sad both times.
Taran.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
All
right. So, anything else from Big Brother 23 tonight? All right. Well, let's talk about what's coming up. A lot to come here this weekend. Of course, tomorrow morning, be sure to join Taran and Puya live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific for all the latest happenings from overnight at the Big Brother house. Check that out. Then later on Friday, we'll be live with the BBQ&A. That's the patron-only show that Taran and I do, where we take calls live from the patrons. You call in, we do video calls. You call in, ask questions. We talk about what's going on. Taran talks about the latest goings on in the game. Sometimes we get into some deeper strategy conversations there. You can join us live. It's also available after the fact in our patron podcast feed, robinswebsite.com/patron. And if you're thinking about signing up and don't want to, maybe tomorrow doesn't work, August 1st, best time to start Patreon on a new month. This Monday, I'll be live on the slop for the patrons. Chappelle will join us, and we'll get extra sloppy. If you see slop happening anywhere, robinswebsite.com/get sloppy. That's going to be Monday night live with Chappelle for the patrons. Tuesday night, we set the all-time record. Kirsten MacInnis says that 6-hour podcasts are against her religion. Well, for if anyone else is podcast agnostic and wants to check it out, it's available. Go to robinswebsite.com to check out a lovely podcast with
I'm sure it's great. I don't have anything against it, except I can't do it.
Yeah, that's fine. I know some people, and I got that from some people, like, oh my God, what are you trying to do to me? Like, look, that it lasts forever. We're doing the top 40 countdown once. Listen to it next year for all I care.
It's just, I do think it's an interesting choice. You did break some podcasts up into 2 podcasts, but not the 6-hour one.
One time we did that, and people didn't love it. What we are planning on, we're going to create a page on the website that has all of the top 40 podcasts, so that you can go back anytime and listen to them. So if you're not keeping up with us in the real time, I know there's a lot going on with Big Brother, so no pressure to anybody. Matt, the Wrestling Wrap Up is back. What's good? John Cena's around?
Yeah, John Cena, totally on. John Cena was not on the podcast. John Cena's back around.
No, who needs John Cena when you got Chappelle and Jacob Jones?
The answer is nobody. And you know what? We had a very fun episode. Jacob did a lot of voguing on the episode. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's what wrestling's all about. Voguing, costumes. We talked about shoes. All of the wrestling things for all of the wrestling fans out there, and the non-wrestling fans too.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, check out Matt and Mari on the Wrestling Wrap Up. I don't know if we have the card for 90 Day Fiance, but Mari was great with Puya on the 90 Day Fiance Wrap Up this week. I listened to that this morning.
Mari's a national treasure.
She is. She is. She's our fave. She's the reason I exist and I'm here on the Wrestling Wrap Up. But also, we had Mari, we had a bunch of fun people, including Puya, this season. So come check us out. We might even have someone who's on this podcast as a guest in a week or so. Who knows? We don't announce guests beforehand, but hey.
Wow. Okay. Hey, what's going on over on Love Island? It was Casa Amore this week. Kirsten, could you give us a tease of what you and Scally are talking about over on the Love Island wrap-up?
So on this past episode of Love Island, we talked about the most disgusting kiss that has ever been on TV ever. So trigger warning for that. I don't know why Cash did it that way, but it was really fun. And we are going to have Jacob Jones joining us tomorrow night to wrap up the second half of the week. So should be spicy.
Okay. All right. And then what else we got? Maybe the thing is stuck.
What else do we got? You
Podcasts.
could just leave the Love Island one up. It's fine.
Yes. Okay. Speaking of Jacob Jones, he was with Jenny and Puya over on Netflix's Sexy Beasts. Taran, have you checked out Sexy Beasts yet?
You know, it's obviously right up my alley, but unfortunately, I have not had time to check out Sexy Beasts.
Oh my gosh. I had no clue. I had no clue that that's what the show was based on the thumbnail.
People keep asking me if I will be watching it or guesting on it. And no, for my mental health, I will not be doing that. Please stop asking.
Yep. Sexy Beasts. People wear prosthetic costumes and go on dates.
I mean, I think my biggest question is, how sexy are the beasts?
Well, you just saw.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I need commentary. That's what the whole podcast is for. I need to know.
The podcast is very fun.
That's what podcasts are for.
I'm assuming that they will be talking about how sexy the beasts are.
They really get into the logistics of how the prosthetics prevent the contestants from being able to like kiss or have drinks or anything like that. There was a beaver, and it was very troubling what he had to do at one point. So definitely check out the pod.
Family podcast. All right. Of course, you can check out everything we have going on. Jam-packed patron podcast feed. We had the slop earlier this week on Monday. Jason Reed joined me. We did not one, but two Survivor patron feedback shows this week. We've got the BB Q&A and plus a patron cast as well. That was just this week in the patron podcast feed. We got a ton of stuff going on right now. Check it all out. robbinswebsite.com/patron, plus access to our Facebook groups, patron Discord, and more. Of course, check out any offers from our sponsors at robbinswebsite.com/offers. And then, of course, follow us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to be notified whenever we have a live show going, whether it's after the episode or in the mornings with Taran. You'll be notified as soon as we go live. And, of course, follow us on social at Rob as a Podcast, where we're always sharing clips from the episodes on Twitter and on Instagram at RHAP Grams. All right. Fun show tonight.
Yeah.
Kirsten, what is coming up for you?
Yes. So if people want to follow me, they can follow me on every platform at Kirsten Said What, including twitch.tv/Kirsten Said What. Of course, the Love Island wrap up is going strong, but a new show has risen today. HBO Max dropped the first 3 episodes of F-Boy Island, and this weekend, Jenny Autumn and I will be getting together to talk about it.
This is a fun new game. Taran, do you know what F-Boy Island is?
I can imagine what it is.
Yeah. And what would you imagine it to be?
Derek F-Boy Island.
It's an island. It's an island full of
sadly a vote.
It's an island full of Brents as they vie for the attention and affection of Hannah's.
I mean, kind of. So the premise of F-Boy Island, for anyone wondering, there are 3 women and there are 24 men. 12 of the men are self-proclaimed good guys who are there for love. 12 of the men are F-boys who are there for money because there's, I think, $100,000 cash prize. The women need to determine who is an F-boy and who is a nice guy and eliminate the F-boys. But I have not watched
the puzzle. It's all of them.
Yeah, I have not watched one single second. They are all F-boys.
The whole time.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Nikki Glazier's hosting.
Okay. All right. Well, Kirsten.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
Yes.
Also, I have a BoJack Horseman rewatch podcast called BoJack Horse Pod with Lindsay Wilson. Please also check that out.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm done.
All right. Matt, we know the wrestling wrap up. What else is going on?
You know what? The wrestling wrap up's what's going on. And I think, like, for anyone who hasn't listened, it's just a fun place to hear all of your RHAP faves except for Rob and Taran and Kirsten so far.
I've been on.
You have been on, so people could go back. But I mean, season 2, we're in season 2 right now.
Mm-hmm. You're old news, Rob.
You're old news, Rob.
This was known.
I'm just trying to get on your bad side, like Kirsten and Taran did during this podcast too. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. You did something.
The bus it can't drive over any more bodies at this point.
That a 6-hour podcast is against her religion.
That was on
Twitter.
Like you can't.
That was on Twitter, and she didn't even tag me.
Tweet.
The algorithm had to show it to me.
Well, I just assumed that you have me muted and that you would never see it, and now I'm very troubled.
No, enough people liked it that the algorithm showed it to me.
Well,
listen on 2X.
Voice of the people, okay?
That's all you need to do, Kirsten. And
I listen to everything on 2X.
Don't hurt Rob's feelings. Don't hurt Rob's feelings.
Do you know what that's like when the algorithm shows you subtweets people say about you?
At the top of your
podcast for 6 hours?
I'm friends with Chappelle. I know what it's like when you find subtweets about yourself.
Good to know. And next time I won't like that tweet. But if you want to see tweets from someone who's not subtweeting you, at Matt Scott GW on Twitter, I'll leave you alone.
Thank you, Matt. Okay.
I'll leave you alone.
Matt, great job tonight. Always fun to have you back with us.
Always fun to have you, Rob.
Yes. Okay. And then Taran.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. You can go and listen to my rant about overplaying, as well as see my adorable cat, and watch me be mad at Derek F. as we watched the episode earlier today. And of course, I also streamed about the Stock Watch and plenty of other stuff. You can also find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran, and you can find me doing podcasts every morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, to update you on everything that's going on these Big Brother 23 feeds.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Going to be a busy Friday talking BB23. Hope to see you then. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.